I was talking about what had happened to me, back in the day, when I was working. My last job, I was working for Macy's and supervising the belt. I guess the belt. That's what it was, the belt. And because I was working in receiving, and I was training somebody on not to do certain things, and I'm the one that ends up getting hurt. I tripped over a box somebody had left down there. I don't know. I could have put it down there. I don't know. But it happened so quickly, and like I say, I flipped over the box, and I thought I had hurt my back, and it was my knee, because when I fell like sideways going frontwards, and when I fell, I bent my back like, and I just laid down there a little while. And I told them to call 911, so they called 911. They came out and everything and checked me out, and ended up, I did go in the ambulance. I left there in the ambulance, and I have not worked since. And when I got in that ambulance, if anybody ever rode in the ambulance, the emergency response, I rode in there, and as soon as you get in there, they ask you all these questions. I guess they wanted to make sure I didn't bump my head, or that was my mind together and stuff like that. I was in shock, really. After you fall, you're in shock. And I was nervous and stuff like that. And they was asking me all these different questions. But I really answered them when I seen them bring this really long needle out. He had it in his hand, and I'm thinking, what is he going to do with that? And I'm riding in the ambulance. They asking me questions, what kind of medical do I have and stuff like that. And I was telling them I was in my right mind. But all for that ride to the hospital, I was thinking God was right there with me through it all, and they did all this stuff and took a CAT scan. I guess the manager of the store, I guess he wanted them to test me on all this different stuff. So they did. I was there for about 4 hours. To tell you the truth, I was there about 4 hours. And this happened back in 2008, something like that. And so I went back to work I did what they call light duty. I did light duty for a little while. And come to find out after the x-rays and everything like that, it was my knee. I pulled a muscle in my knee, and ended up my right knee had to get the ophthalmoscopic surgery on it. It wasn't broken or anything, but I pulled a ligament or something in there. So I did end up getting surgery on my knee, but I didn't get a knee replacement. I just had that ophthalmoscopic surgery. And it's just things happen, things happen. I was just thinking about that today when I was in my art class, of how God comes in your life in different times. I had worked all these different places. I got into retail later in life. I worked for Macy's 5 years. I worked for Burlington Coat Factory for 5 years. And before that, I worked 14 years at that printing company. That was straight from high school. And that was the best job I ever had in my life. But I stopped working there because I got hurt on that job. It's just things happen. But the thing was, what happened on that job, I broke a finger. We had these machines that was running at this time. This machine that printed paper and rolled papers on this roller and everything like that. And it's always when I'm training someone. I don't know what it is. I get thrown off track telling somebody not to do such and such, and I'm the one that ends up getting hurt. I don't know why that happens, but that's like the third time that happened like that. And so, but Macy's was my last job I ever worked, and that job it was good too. It was a good job. It paid me good and stuff. And then after I sued them, I had to pay my what was that workman comp. I had to pay workman comp back, and I didn't know you had to pay them back when you suing a company. You got to give them their money back if you get a settlement. So I had to pay them back. I got like 7,000 from Macy's, and which that's not a lot of money, but at that time it was a lot for me at that time, 7,000. And it really, I got hurt, but I wasn't hurt major. But I have had problems with my knee, and that's why I'm still going, having to walk around, different things, doing exercises and different things like that. How you doing? I see 5 people on here right now. How you guys doing? Thank you for watching. My name is Michelle. I'm bringing a live video today. I'm just talking about how things happen in your life and you have to go in a different direction and change your directions. But I went back to my original way of doing things when I started in from high school to college. I started drawing and doing different things using my skills. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm thinking about, selling some of my stuff that I'm making now because it's really amazing me that I still know how to do this stuff. The sculptures and different things like that. And it's working out. This guy that's showing me all this stuff, he's my teacher. I knew him for years back. He's teaching a class, but it's not at the college or anything. It's like at a senior center. So I'm taking a class up there, and it's like about 40 people in this class. So it's working out good. And I just want to say, any of you guys out there, you want to start doing something that you like to do. It works good. It makes you feel better about life in general. Every day, it makes you feel really, really good when you go backwards and do those things that you enjoy doing. In the younger years, I enjoyed that. I found out that was one of my gifts, was doing that. So I just wanted to share this and say hello to everybody and want you guys to watch this video and make sure everything works out good in your life, and know that God has to be first. You put God first and everything else lines up. God bless you. Have a great evening.